If you have said to yourself, I should write that, or if someone has said to you, you should write that, then I'm talking to you because you need to write. And that's why you're tuned in to yWrite. Hi, welcome to yWrite. My name is Angela Grout, and I am here in studio today to bring you yet another author who's going to talk about why they wrote their book, what their book's about, and hopefully you're going to be out buying their book to find out what it is. But if you're a writer, you are going to get some valuable information today on this show because we are going to talk about writing books. And we're going to talk about a really interesting topic, and I'm not sure if you can see my hat here, but I have the author of Sweet Caroline and Hot Flashes. Her name is Jackie Vermette, and, you know, women, we evolve. Men, I'm sure you do too, but, you know, you were Neanderthals, whatever, but women evolve. We change, and I have to truly trust that we become exactly who we are meant to be. Now, Jackie Vermette, who's in studio today, she was a longtime business professional. She was a speech therapist assistant, and she's a mom of two. And now she is an author. She is passionate to discuss what it's like to be in midlife as a woman to empower other women. And her book, Sweet Caroline and Hot Flashes, obviously is going to be about menopause. So this is going to be a very funny show. Her book is Humorous, and it's a heartfelt memoir, which she wrote about the chaos, the comedy, and the vulnerability of the midlife change that women go through. So I want to really just give a warm welcome, and I say warm because the studio is warm. And we are in menopause. I want to welcome Jackie Vermette to the show.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you
that.
so much.
Thank you.
So, you know, we have to talk about like how we evolve as women.
We do.
Thank you for the hat.
You're welcome.
I'm wearing it on the show here, the
Looks
Sweet
very
Caroline
good on
and
you.
Hot Flashes. And I did have to put on, you know, my bifocals here to read the bottom, which says, still hot, just in flashes.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is the truth about menopause.
Yes.
The internal heat that we produce now.
It's no joke.
And you've produced some pretty major heat on the page here. I mean, women everywhere are loving the book. It's, you know, it's a great book, which I have to say as a writer, I love the size.
Yes, thank you.
I love the double spacing and the font.
Yes, and it's an easy, fast read.
Yes.
Easy and fast.
Yes.
And very relatable if you are in this part of life.
Yeah, I mean, humorous memoir of midlife. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that you started writing this book when you hit around midlife.
I
or
did.
Did you start this as a teen?
I did not. You know, and I never planned to write a book.
You didn't dream about being an author?
I 100% did not. That was not in my cards as far as I thought, you know, because I didn't feel like I was a good writer. And here we go, menopause. She kicks right in, right when I go to say something.
And that is true. It is all of a sudden we get like a blank page in our head, and we're like, what are we doing?
Gone.
And writers can appreciate this because when you're writing and you're facing the blank page and you want to like start typing, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, I've been thinking about this story for days and days and days and days, and now I'm sitting here in front of the computer or in front of a page with a pen in my hand, and I don't know what to write.
And it's gone. So I think I was talking about how I started writing because me and all my friends were all in this stage of life, right? So we're all going through this and we're talking about things, but there's not really any information about it. And if you would, so I have a pretty big group of friends, and if we would go on girls' weekends, you know, we'd be talking about hot flashes and the anxiety and the night sweats and all the things, the hip pain. And so outside of our group, you know, if somebody talked about it, it was almost, you know, shameful. Like, you know, oh, we don't talk about it.
We don't talk. Yeah, well,
the
older generations don't.
Did
They
not
did
talk
not.
about it.
No.
Right. And so we were bringing to our generation that same shame that they felt. And that's not who I am.
Yeah, that's not who I am either.
So,
I'm like open book. Let's just talk about it.
We're going to talk about all the things.
And
even
I
the
mean,
ones that are
and
uncomfortable.
it's such like my mother-in-law. I remember when she was going through it. You know, she would just like very casually, just
Yes.
And I'm thinking, when I go through it, I'm like, oh my God, why is it so hot in here?
Exactly. Why do I look like a tomato?
Right,
I'm so hot?
and like, they held it back.
Yes.
And it's like, it's nothing embarrassing.
No.
I mean, we go through this, and it's not like we go through it, well, I'm going to say overnight.
Yeah, no.
I mean, for me, it did happen overnight once, because I'm now in my second stage of going through this, which is kind of weird, but... Quick short story, when I was 30, I had to go through menopause with a Lupron therapy in order to stop endometriosis. So if anyone has that, I don't know if I recommend it. But literally, after you get your first shot, and it's a series of 6 shots over 6 months, boom, menopause kicks in. You get the hot flashes, you get the paranoia, you get the anxiety. I mean, that bodily aches and pains. And then, you just like... start to sometimes get that I don't care attitude, like whatever. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm taking my shirt off now. I have a tank top underneath, because we prepare ourselves to know to dress in layers.
No, and I think that too is when you get to this stage of life, there's, first of all, you've experienced so much in life that this we do not care attitude, it is what it is. Like, you really do get there. You really just don't care about the little things anymore. It just doesn't matter, because you've seen all the things that life has thrown at you, and something as little as someone annoying you or whatever the
I was like, as little as menopause? No.
No. Menopause is huge.
Yes.
But it's the things behind menopause.
So what made you decide to start actually writing a book? And like, when you like you said, you're getting together with your girlfriends, you're all talking. Did you come up with like an outline of the different topics you want to talk about, or you just sat and...
So, so as we're talking about this, I'm thinking to myself, when we were teenagers, we had Judy Blume, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. You know what I mean? And everybody read that book, and probably multiple times. I'm like, people love that book, right? And so why don't we have something like that now? So then initially I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to entertain this. Like, I'm going to entertain writing stuff, right? So I started to write, and I was going to make up a story, right? So I'm making up a story about a girl, but I couldn't just make up the story, because I was putting all of my own experiences.
Well, of course, we write what we know.
Right. So I'd start to write, and then I'm like, okay, something that happened to me, and then I try to make up something to add to it. And I'm just like, I can't do that, because I can only speak from what I know.
Yep.
And so I would write about like one part of menopause, and I'd put that down. And then I'd write about another symptom and put that down. And then sometimes I would talk into my phone and put that down. And so I just had pieces of things all over the place. You know what I mean? And then I started to write also not just about menopause, but about midlife. I have grown children, 21 and 22. So that, and I've been married to my husband for 28 years. So there's that piece of it. It's a whole life.
It is a whole life. And the empty nest syndrome that comes at this time of life is just that extra piling on the cake. Because there's days where, I have she'll be 23. And, it's like she's, I always say to myself, I've raised a successfully independent, strong woman.
Yes.
Which
that's
is
huge.
But she doesn't come home. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't live in the house anymore. And we don't have that family dinner at night.
That's hard. And
it's that empty nest where it's like, and toss in the bipolar mood changes that come with midlife. It's like, oh my God, I just want to cry, and it's like, why? 100%. I've raised a successful woman.
It's a lot comes down on you. I mean, so I talk about all those things. At one point I talk about, I'm in JCPenney. I walk into JCPenney. Now, first of all, JCPenney been around for a million years, and I was in Hadley, so I'm in the store. I walk into the store. All of a sudden, I just start crying because I used to go shopping every weekend with my grandmother, and we would always go to JCPenney, and we would always go to Friendly's after for lunch. And walking into that store and just having that memory come back at me was like the biggest gut punch. I'm literally just standing next to the clothes bawling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening, first of all?
It's the emotional flood that shows up, and... then you go to the doctor like, okay, I need some anxiety medication. And, yes, there is medication to help control those things, but it really is about your body changing.
Yeah, 100%. And so I just tried to put all of those things in there. And it's funny because last week at my book signing, a woman came up to me and she was like, I just want you to know the part that hit me the most was that she too used to go with her grandmother and shop and then go to lunch every Saturday. And I don't know if her grandmother has passed or not, but she's a writer too. So it's funny. It's just funny. Yeah. The little things in there that hit people.
Well, and it's when you do write a book, you meet people who the story obviously resonates with, and then you actually start meeting new writers. Other writers are like, oh yeah, I wrote a book too, and and I'm like, wait, you're an author? Like, tell me about your book.
I know.
This is great.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So how long did it take you to write this?
So I'm gonna say it took me probably like 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Just. Again, I was just writing things down.
Yeah.
There was no rhyme or reason for it. And after I had thought I finished it, I go back and I'm like, oh my God, I already talked about that. I got to take that out. I already talked about that. I got to take, I would talk about the same thing a couple times in a couple different areas. So to go back through and try and weed out all the stuff you already talked about. And so it's not.
That's a big process of writing, because when you have to edit your own words and decide, if you've talked about one subject 3 times, now you got to figure out which one you want to keep.
Yes. Yeah, that's hard. Writing is hard. And that's why for me, I was shocked, to be honest, that I could actually. And
she walked in today, she's like, well, I'm not a writer. I'm like, well, I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
Really not, but.
And this is why I have the show is for writers, just like women talking about our menopausal stages, for writers to be able to share, there's so many people I'm not a writer, I'm not an author, but yet you're dedicating time to sit down and write every single day or whenever, you're taking that time to do it. Yeah. And then it's one thing to write and, be a journal, I'm going to call it a journalist, when you're journaling for yourself, but then when you're going to share it with others and then to take the time to edit it, that's huge. Yeah. To make sure, and that's something that your readers will catch if you don't edit it. Wait, she already told me about JCPenney's and she's telling me about this again. And then, wait, now I'm hearing about JCPenney again. Yeah. If there's a reason to hear about it 3 times, then okay. But I know what you're saying. You have to pick what JCPenney story you really want to include in here.
Yes. Yeah. That part's hard.
So, but like I said, I love how you did the font and the double spacing, because a lot of people, don't do that. I love short reads anyways. When I did Dear Baby Get Out, which is the final days of pregnancy, and it really is a humorous memoir about the last 7 days of childbirth. Yeah. It's I wanted it to be a sit down, fast read. Yeah. And, here we have from childbirth to menopause, and it's we are here. So I have a question. You've named the book Sweet Caroline and Hot Flashes. I mean, we know where the hot flash is coming from. What's the Sweet Caroline, and why pick Sweet Caroline?
Okay, so it's not a person. It's for the song.
Okay.
Because every Gen X woman knows Sweet Caroline.
Yep.
You know that song. And if you grew up here in New England, stop. That's in your DNA.
Oh, yeah.
Weddings, bars, Fenway.
As soon as the music comes on, it's 100%. It doesn't matter what your conversation's on. You can be yeah, now all of a sudden you're singing.
Exactly. You're screaming the words. And I wanted it to be nostalgic for us and for women to know that even through all this nonsense, the hot flashes, all the things that are happening to us, that girl's still in there.
Yeah,
she's still
the fun
in there.
Girl.
She's in there, and listen, let her out and scream at the top of your lungs whenever you can.
I love that. I love that because it's funny and it's so true when you think Sweet Caroline, and then when you think about the mood changes we go through, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs about something stupid. I will use humor to kind of stop myself and be like, "Are you kidding me? You're yelling about this right now. Is this really worth?"
that energy.
The energy, exactly, because it's exhausting. Yeah. I'm at the point where I have to take a nap every day.
I feel like I'm
a big napper.
Girl, I love a nap. But let me tell you something. I've started taking Geritol. This is comedy.
I'm taking Geritol.
What am I, 100? The first time I took Geritol, I was like, what am I? Are you kidding me? But no joke, that stuff works.
Yes.
I add to it vitamin C and blueberry powder and collagen. That is the drink of all drinks. First of all, Geritol by itself is disgusting, but all of it together.
Well, I do a pill, so.
Oh, I take the liquid.
You do,
girl. It's gross, but it's really good, and it really does give me the energy because I would literally get up from waking up in the morning, I'd be up an hour and I'd literally be like, my God, what is wrong?
Yes,
like, what?
yes.
You are so, it's like every ounce of energy is drained out of your body.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes.
It really is crazy. But listen, if anybody's out there and you need some energy, get yourself some Geritol.
I need Geritol to sponsor this show.
Listen, Geritol should sponsor my book. Let's go.
And it's just weird how like all the things we hear that sound like ancient. I mean, they're all.
Listen, when I saw somebody say that they took Geritol, I'm like, that no. And then she's saying it works. I go, okay, let me give this a try. And I made a TikTok about it because I was like, am I 100? I'm taking Geritol, but it's legit. It works.
So let's segue to the like TikTok station because not every author, but a lot of authors who come on, like they'll write a book and it sometimes manifests into something else. Whether someone's going to have a podcast or someone's going to create a movie out of their book or a show out of their book, or TikTok.
Yeah.
You have a TikTok page that's called Sweet Carolina Hot Flashes, and you have the Menopausal Fairy. Yes. How did the Menopausal Fairy come to be?
So on the TikTok channel, I like to just talk. I do all kinds of things, but the Menopausal Fairy came because she's legit. She just shows up, and all of a sudden she smacks you, and you're like in an inferno, right? And so, you got to laugh. You have to laugh because what's the option? What are you going to cry? I'm not going to cry. Well, I'm going to laugh.
Some days.
Some days you cry, but you don't sit there. You get up from that. And so, I created the Menopausal Fairy, and she just comes and she does things. And I've only had 2 episodes of the Menopausal Fairy. I have a whole, list of things I can do with her, but she showed up twice.
Yeah,
so
she's evolving, and it's like there was another TikTok or something where they were bringing on Aunt Flo, to the teenagers. Aunt Flo has arrived.
Yes.
And it's like now all of a sudden, Aunt Flo's, great grandmother shows up as the Menopausal Fairy. So it's just neat to see how things like that transpire.
Yeah.
So one of the big things I wanted to talk to you about as a writer is, and this is one of the things that I found when I started to hear about you, is the way that you're marketing your book.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really like there's something to be said about the network of friends that you have and word of mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hire a PR agent, you can, do all these things, but when you have someone endorsing your book that endorses the book for someone else and, and it keeps going. Talk about how you started marketing your book and the book clubs that you were, I want to say, hosting or invited to.
Okay, so obviously, if I never thought I was a writer, I had no idea how to market a book. Like I'm literally am winging it. Okay, so my aunt is a writer, and so she was the one that told me to, put it on Amazon. And so that's what I did. And obviously, when I first released it, I'm on Facebook and I released it to all my friends, right? And so, well, your friends buy it, they start reading it, and they start sharing and sharing and sharing. And so that's, basically like how I got myself out there as far as the book goes. Now, I just got put into the bookstore in West Springfield, a new chapter. That's my first bookstore. And that's pretty cool.
And it's a very new bookstore in our area, which is nice to see small bookstores opening up again.
And it's so cute.
And it's so
the
cute.
Cutest little store.
Scott's doing a great job with that. He's bringing in new bestsellers, but he is kind of showcasing, I think, like one local author or one or two like each week or each month or something like that.
Yep.
And I mean, it's great because we're all so used to the Barnes and Noble, which is really the only big bookstore you can go to.
Right.
And then you're online.
Right.
And, to hold a book, to walk in and see the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you were there and you did a book signing
at
his place.
I did.
But, like, I've seen, so many different posts on social media where, you're getting together with all these women, having a book talk, people have read the book. I mean, it's great. They're all smiling with the book.
Yeah.
And then, if you're inviting, 8, 10, 20 friends and they're all doing this, and then those 8, 20 friends all share with another 2 to 20 friends, that is a great way of marketing.
It is, absolutely it is. And I don't know, I didn't even look, I mean, I think I did look into Barnes and Nobles at one point. I don't know how to do all that stuff. I'm literally just like, so here we are.
I mean, I found that, the whole statement of like, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. Do you know what
Okay,
I mean?
yeah,
Because it's like sometimes, you start to do things, or you start to want to get things done before you're ready.
Yeah.
And, like doing the small bookstores. And then, Barnes & Noble, they do some local events where they'll invite local authors to come in.
Yes.
And, they'll take like the first 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of like walking in. And I remember my first time walking into Barnes & Noble, like, heart beating in my throat, like, what, oh my God, am I really an author? And I'm really going to approach them and say, hey, would you carry my book in your store, or can I have a book signing? Or and some of the managers are very young, so I have a book, how do I get it in the store? And then they reach out to the district manager and say, oh, well, we're going to have an event, leave your name and number, and we'll get in touch with you. And it's like, it's just, you got to market yourself.
No, for sure.
And that's really hard. So with that said, going into the bookstores, obviously, you have a great cover.
Thank you.
Did you designed it?
Yeah.
And who created this? How did you get this cover? Because this is the first thing someone's going to see when they walk in that bookstore and stuff.
Girl, I sent that right to AI.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
I love it.
Yep.
So, you got this nice satiny pajamas.
Mm-hmm. But that's all me. You know what I mean? Like, that's me all day. Like, pajamas are my jam, especially the satin ones. 80s. I'm an 80s girl. Sunglasses. You know what I mean? And the beach on the back is the beach. I love the beach. That is
with your girlfriend. And and this definitely can be a beach read.
100%. So
a beach read, a bath read, a bed read. There's a lot of bees.
Yes.
It's really
an easy read. Yeah.
Yeah. And so how did you determine how to price your book?
My aunt, actually, because she's a writer. She's written multiple books. It was funny because I never told anybody about the book. I never let anybody read the book.
Wait, so when you were writing this, your girlfriend didn't know you were writing it?
Nobody knew.
Oh,
nobody.
I thought you were.
I didn't even really know for sure if I was writing a book.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I never told anybody, not even my husband. So when I thought I was done, I sent it to my aunt. And she was a professor. She's all the things. And so she read the book and she was like, yeah, it's good. I was like, really? It's good? She's like, yeah. And then I'm like, is it really good? Or is she just telling me that? You know what I mean?
Because you're her niece and she's want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah. But then I'm like, she's like, no. She's like, we're going to, and she knows how to do all the things.
Yeah.
And they're also.
So she was able to help you format.
She did, yeah. So she formatted it, and her husband is a writer too. So he's the one that did the book cover, because you got to do something with the measurements or something. So he did that for me. They're actually on the back, COT Publishing. So I kind of had to hook up there.
When the student's ready, the teacher, the guides disappear.
Yes.
They just show up because you're like, okay, here's 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, that you've written. It's like, okay, what do I do with it now?
Yeah.
What do I do with it?
Yeah. And so she reformatted the whole thing. And then she's like showing me how to do it. And then, oh my God, you don't even know how many times we had to redo this because something happened in it was a nightmare. Anyway, it ended up working out. And so then I publish it, right? Still don't tell anybody. Then when the author copy comes, I give it to my husband to read. Now I'm freaking out, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, what is he going to say? So I leave and he's at home reading it, and I come back and he's not done, and then he finally finishes it, and I go, so then he comes to me and I'm like, okay, well, how was it? He's like, it was really good. I might cry thinking about it.
And I might cry too.
I know. And I was like, no, but just be honest. Tell me really, because this is out to the world now. You know what I mean? Like, I need to know for real.
This is giving birth.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, no, it's good. It's good. And then when my friends read it, you never really know if it's really good, at least for me, until somebody you have no idea.
Yeah.
Know nothing about. They don't know you from a hole in the wall. They read it and they're like, oh my God, I loved it. Thank you for writing what we're all feeling.
Yes.
And I was like, really? like really? Is that for real? Like, even now, I'm like, really? Like, I don't know. It's like I said, I never really thought I was a writer.
You had this secret pregnancy going on.
I did, yes.
And then you secretly gave birth that your husband didn't even know you were birthing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
It was crazy.
I mean,
crazy and so scary. Like, it's really
so
scary.
When I did Angel's Journey, I mean, I can relate to this. I didn't tell anyone I was writing it. So
it's scary.
And I mean, we're going back 20 years, but I didn't. And then before I published it, like, I slowly handed a few chapters to a friend, and I was like, do you think I sound crazy?
Yeah.
Does this sound crazy? I mean, that's a book about, like, life after death.
Yeah,
so it's like,
I need that book.
Oh my God, do you think that,
Love it.
People are going to think I'm a medium, or people are going to think I'm, psychotic. Like, what is going on? And, and she was like, no. And I mean, I sat on that book for 8 years.
Wow.
Before I did anything. And I did share it with a few friends, and they were finally like, when are you going to publish it? And I'm like, I don't know if I want that in the world. Like, I
stop.
don't know.
I need to read that book.
I don't know. Like, and then I started doing some editing with it, realizing you have to change names, because
right, okay,
even though some of it's a memoir, but like you can't really use real names. Well, I was young and dumb. Like, my mother's name is Joan, and I changed her name to Joanna.
Oh, nobody's gonna know.
No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. No one. And I was a florist for 33 years.
Oh, okay.
And the florist name is Cora.
Hilarious.
But that Cora means from the heart, and that is like one of my pen names. I've always said I'm going to write The Adventures of Cora Wang.
I love it.
Which will be with the Menopausal Fairy for sure.
Let's go.
So where can people find your book? Where can they get information about you if they wanted to have you at one of their book club meetings or have you to do a book signing? Where can they get this?
So the book is on Amazon in paperback and on Kindle, and I'm available on socials, on TikTok, all under Sweet Caroline and Hot Flashes. I also have an author page on Facebook, Jackie Vermette, author. LinkedIn, I'm on as my regular name, Jackie Vermette, author. And you can reach out to me at any of those. And also my email is on all of those, I believe. Okay.
I will put all the links in the program here. So if they're watching on YouTube or Spotify or Amazon or Apple or I don't even know what all these streaming services are, but we will have it. And this show, is really, people are going to see this on cable channels everywhere, and they'll be like, wait a second, I got to get this. This would be a great gift for someone.
It's such a great gift for anybody in this stage of life, because they will really see themselves. And again, there's other things other than just menopause, other things about life. So.
Yeah, and especially I'm going to say the Gen X women.
Yeah,
because
100%.
We are the ones
100%.
Who are more vocal about talking about how we feel, what we're going through, and sharing with others. That is going to empower future generations.
Absolutely.
Which will allow them to know what to expect, how to handle it, when to start taking Geritol.
There's no shame in this. No shame, ladies. If you are lucky enough to get here, embrace it.
Yes, 100% embrace it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for the hat.
You're so welcome.
I love the colors and everything.
Still hot, girl. Still hot.
Still hot, just in flashes. So thank you so much. And I will put all the links. And I also want to thank you, the listening audience to yWrite, that you've tuned in every week, or maybe you're watching this on the streaming networks and you're just binge watching episode after episode. Thank you. Like, follow, comment, share with your friends. And, if you've read any of the books of any of the authors that have been on our show, like, Jackie and I were just talking about, put something out on social media to help promote them and write a review, because good reviews and friends who help friends definitely is the way that books get word of mouth out there, and you can help an author, because we're pouring our heart and soul in between the bindings of a book, and for entertainment and for education too. So this is the part of the program where I give you a writing prompt, and today we're going to take a prompt of trying to figure out what kind of book you're writing. And when I say kind, I want to talk about what size book you're writing. I want you to do a little visualization, and I want you to picture in your hand your finished book. What does it feel like to you? Is there a glossy cover? Is it white pages inside? Is it cream pages inside? How big is it? Hardcover? How big does that book feel? And just write down some descriptions of it. It can be the color, it can be the feel, any of that, because as you're writing a book, this is something that, you just want to start the process of planting the seed on the paper and just visualizing what your final project looks like. And I'm calling it a project because that's what it is right now. It's a project, it's your baby. You have a story to tell. What goes inside is your heart and soul. But what is it going to look like on the outside? Just start writing down a few ideas of what you see. It may change, but you know what? At least you've got something started. So thank you so much for tuning into yWrite, and I will see you next time. See ya.